Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Tiger Driver Radio for all things New Japan Pro Wrestling and other wrestling news. This is your main man, JP, alongside
Juicy J.
What's up?
What up?
Oh man, I'm just recovering from my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
It kind of fucking sucked.
Man, I'm bummed that you had a bad time this weekend, man.
Yeah, no, it was kind of cool. Okay, I'll break it down like this. Saturday was like my day. I was kind of celebrating whatever. So Saturday during the day was with my parents, and then I met up with you.
Yeah.
And we went to that little mini comic convention, which there was some cool shit there.
That was a good time.
That was actually a good time. I had a great time there. We also saw Brutus the Barber Beefcake, which I didn't go and get an autograph or meet him. I had no interest, but we were trying to figure out the whole time, how many gimmicks has Brutus the Barber Beefcake had in his career? And the only ones I could remember I didn't want to Google it. I wanted to see how many I could remember. It was Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Booty Man, the Zodiac, and the Disciple. It was 4. And I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 more that I'm forgetting. Yeah. But those are the ones that come in because he was part of the Dungeon of Doom. Yeah. And he was always with Hulk Hogan one way or another, whether it was as Brutus the Barber Beefcake, which is the worst name in wrestling ever, or him as the Disciple. He was some biker looking dude. And it's just terrible. And the Booty Man was just him being the Booty Man. I don't know. But
does anybody have that much gimmicks these days?
People who have gone through some tons of gimmicks. Yeah,
but heavy changes like him.
Yeah, not you mean not like a natural evolution.
Yeah, not subtle like Jericho's that he changes little things here and there, but big changes. I can't remember.
I mean, big changes where it's just completely
different. Yeah.
That's a good. If there's anybody listening, feel free to chime in on this. Any wrestlers that you can think of that had a lot of hard restarts on their character.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. And the thing is, I don't even consider something like Rey Mysterio going unmasked for a while a hard restart because it was still him.
Yeah.
Even though he was kind of more hip hop-ish, he was part of the No Limit Soldiers. The Painmaker versus Y2J. If you really think about all these characters, they're pretty different characters, but they're all still relatively Jericho.
Maybe big Cody Rhodes and his Stardust.
Stardust. Okay, so you go from Cody Rhodes to Stardust, but that's one change. Yeah.
It was Cody Rhodes, and then the one he did with the weird plastic mask that he wouldn't want
the Phantom of the Opera kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not really a hard start because it's you know what I mean. It's still kind of it's still him.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of hard start. Here's a good example. You had remember Viscera.
Yeah.
Okay. Before he was Viscera, he was Mabel in Men on a Mission. He was Mabel on Men on a Mission. He was the little hip hop group, and they wore gold and purple. It was the worst. He was Mabel. He became King Mabel. Then got taken over by the Ministry of Darkness and became Viscera.
Yeah.
Then he became Big Daddy V, where he was kind of a porn star adult figure, pimp daddy kind of thing. And then Big Vis, which is just a big tough guy. So he had 4 hard starts.
Yeah.
Where even though it was him, all those gimmicks clearly were not extensions of it. They were clearly very separate things. I'm thinking of that. Or Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
He went from Bob Sparkplug Holly to Bob Holly.
Yeah.
Or Al Snow. Al Snow started off as Leaf Cassidy. And then he went to Leaf Cassidy of the New Rockers with Marty Jannetty. And then from there went to Al Snow. So it's okay, that's 3 hard starts. I'm trying to think who's had a hard...
recent memory. I can't really think of anyone.
Well, you know what we'll do is we'll continue on with the episode. But if you guys can chime in, here's the question of the day. Can you think of any superstars who have had a lot of hard restarts in their character, brand new gimmicks? Let us know here on Podbean Live. We'd love to hear from you.
We are live in Podbean every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central.
Exactly. But with that being said, there's been a lot since going on. Like I said, my birthday kind of was cool during the day. At night, not so much.
Yeah.
My birthday kind of sucked at night. We won't get into that. We talked about it off air. But it just kind of sucked at night.
But you did have cake.
I did have a lot of. I did have.
You got gifts.
I got awesome. I got some. I got a new watch.
Yeah.
I had some pretty awesome cake.
Yeah.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? So maybe I should stop being such an emo kid and just count my blessings. There you go. I'll just leave it at that. It was okay. I thought it would kind of end up on a better note, but whatever.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to.
But happy birthday, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
What was that? I was like, I did not expect that, dude. Holy crap. All right. So,
yep.
Back to the news, man. I'm totally thrown off by that. A lot of things happened over the weekend, though.
Yeah.
Which made my birthday weekend pretty cool. And you know what? Let's get into that, man, because that'll definitely cheer me up. Oh, man, somebody wished me a happy birthday to WrestleGeek. Shout out to WrestleGeek. Thank you so much, dude, for the happy birthday wishes. But on that note, let's get to the news, man, because you know what? There is some bit of news that actually made up for a kind of lackluster birthday night.
Yeah. You want to talk about some New Japan first?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Man, I'm telling you, man, this past weekend at Power Struggle really definitely kicked things forward and is definitely set the tone for what Wrestle Kingdom is going to look like. And man, I am more excited than ever for Wrestle Kingdom, especially after Power Struggle.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for it. It is the stuff that's going to happen in Wrestle Kingdom, and all the stuff that's still to come. Absolutely. Because you have to fill out these 2 days. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. Who knows what's left, man? But the thing is, I got to say right now, like leading up to Power Struggle, of course, was the Junior Tag League. You know, for the past month and a half.
Yeah.
And the way that it ended out was that Tiger Mask and Yuya Uemura with 0 points. I kind of saw that coming. You know, Ryusuke Taguchi and Rocky Romero Super Coach with the 8 points.
Yeah.
Ospreay and Eagles, Birds of Prey with 8. Yeah. Sho and Yo with 10. Volador Jr. and Titan with 8, which they did pretty well this year.
Yeah, they did. I think the commentator said that that's the highest that a Mexican team has done from prior tournaments.
Yeah.
So they did awesome.
They were competitive.
Yeah.
And then TJP and Clark Connors, only 2 points. Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo with 10. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru with 10. And the thing is that throughout this tournament, there was a lot of good matches, a lot of good showings.
Yeah.
But I will say, in my opinion, I think a new rivalry has kind of erupted between Bullet Club and Suzuki-gun with El Desperado and Kanemaru against Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo.
Yeah.
However, in the finals, remind me, who was in the finals again? It was Sho and Yo against...
And Desperado and Kanemaru.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. I apologize. It's been a long day. But that was actually the finals of the whole tournament. Like I said, for the past year, Sho and Yo against Kanemaru and Desperado have been back and forth rivals all year. Yeah. Especially since the departure of the Young Bucks, who dominated the Junior Tag League for quite some time. But the fact is, they had an awesome showing. I think Sho and Yo have started to really mesh better recently as a tag team. They're really gelling a lot.
And Sho's done awesome. Like he's better of the two, I think, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yo is improved, but Sho is definitely the standout. Dare I say, I think at some point he will be a heavyweight in his future.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, and he's the one also that from both of them, the one that's always giving his all in the matches, because he's the one usually getting all the bumps.
Yeah, like I said, he's definitely the Ricky Morton of the two.
Yeah.
Between that and Robert Gibson.
Yeah. But and Desperado, man, he came with a vengeance. He came back with a vengeance. He was just going at everyone, man. He just wanted to kill everybody.
Yeah, I mean the guy definitely has a chip on his shoulder ever since he got injured against having that hardcore match against the Crazy Monkey, Jun Kasai, on an independent show. But like I said, Desperado was definitely hard hitting, unforgiving, and unrelenting in that finals match. Sho and Yo did come out on top, only to be attacked by Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo, who are the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champs. Mind you, they have done such an excellent job at defending those belts, even having another classic against the Birds of Prey, and even putting an awesome showing against Taguchi and Rocky Romero, which they were responsible for knocking them out early on in the brackets.
Yeah.
And Volador Jr. and Titan did pretty damn well. I was very impressed. You know, and I would even say like bring them back.
Yeah, definitely bring those guys back, or keep putting them on something like for like permanently. Those guys are good. The Titan especially, that guy has a lot of potential. And Volador, he always does awesome. And I mean, they got a win over Desperado and Kanemaru, which is surprising. I thought that was a little different. They would allow him to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then let's see, and Ospreay and Eagles, they would have probably made it to the finals or even had the opportunity to if it wasn't for Bushi coming and giving a miss to Ospreay, and Kanemaru giving the Centauri surprise to Robbie Eagles.
Exactly.
Caused a loss on there.
A lot of underhanded tactics that you would expect from Suzuki-gun for sure.
Yeah, and I think Taguchi, and going back to Volador and Titan, like Taguchi and Rocky would have even made it to the finals too if they wouldn't have lost to them, to Volador and Titan.
Yeah, Volador and Junior and Titan kind of, in my opinion, served as a spoiler.
Yeah.
More so than anything. And that's the one thing I really do like about a lot of these round robin tournaments is that even though you may not be the highest performer on the bracket, even though if you're a team or a singles wrestler that may not win every match, the fact is that your wins and losses will still matter, even if you're not going to be a guaranteed slot in the final, because you could very well spoil someone else's chances. So it comes to a point that if you're not a person or a tag team, you know, in this case for the junior tag league, and you're not scoring all of your points, you might very well still be able to spoil someone else's aspirations who's right there on the cusp of making it. Of course, Volador Jr. and Titan spoiled it for the super coaches. Yeah. You know, the birds of prey were spoiled by, of course, El Desperado and Kanemaru.
Yeah.
And Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo pretty much crushed it the whole tournament.
Yeah, they did good. I mean, if it wasn't for the losses from the two finalists, so I mean that makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, the two finalists had to take them out. Yeah. But like I said, it was a very entertaining, junior tag league.
TJP was entertaining, even though they did really bad.
Even like I said, Connors. TJP was kind of. I kind of feel like TJP was invited to fill up space, and then B to also serve as kind of like to mentor Clark Connors.
Yeah, he put him over big time.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he did. And then TJP though, he did get over with the Japanese crowd though.
I mean, this isn't the first time though he's been in a New Japan wrestling ring. He did in fact compete, in the Tokyo Dome before at a Wrestle Kingdom in the past. Has competed in the Best of the Super Juniors before, and the Super J Cup in years past prior to his time in WWE.
Yeah, because the commentators even said like TJP is the older LA dojo and Clark Connors is from the new dojo.
Yeah, exactly. Like TJP was in fact part of that graduating class that featured Daniel Bryan Danielson, of course, for those who prefers real name. Yeah. Samoa Joe, I think was part of that class, and Shinsuke Nakamura was even part of that class as well.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big class at that time, for TJP to be a part of. Like I said, TJP also started very young. At this point, he's in his mid 30s and still within the prime of his career. But the fact is that he has an abundance of experience. But it's only been the past couple of years that his career has taken off, and he's been able to kind of sustain a career even outside of WWE. And like I said, in my opinion, TJP is probably one of the most undervalued and underutilized, tragically underutilized wrestlers that WWE had, especially in that 205 live division that they have. That, in my opinion, is a travesty to all wrestlers that wrestle into that division. But we won't go there right now. A lot of talent, tragically underutilized. Glad to see TJP in a New Japan ring. And like I said, I think if TJP does, because I know he also wrestles for Impact as well, but I know TJP, if he wants to, if he's able to, I would love to see him get finally utilized in a bigger capacity in the junior promotion, in the junior division in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I would love to see him and Ospreay go at it.
Yeah, hopefully he's here to stay, man.
Here to stay, or him against Hiromu Takahashi, which, mind you, I'll jump to the next topic. The match between Ospreay and Bushi.
Ospreay and Bushi, yeah.
Awesome. Super awesome match. Bushi did not lag at all. Bushi definitely kept up. I love the fact that there was a lot of drama in that match with a lot of cheating, but then also the fact that Bushi tried to use the poison mist. Ospreay actually kind of did this weird move where he put his hand over his mouth, sucked, I guess, the poison out of Bushi's mouth, and then spit it back in his face, kind of turning it on him. Nobody expected that. The crowd went nuts for that. Like, oh, wow, he turned it back on him. And even Ospreay on his social media even said, like, I felt like the Great Muta doing that. Nice little nod to New Japan's past. And then, of course, was able to score the pinfall with the Stormbreaker. A very solid 16-minute match. I think Bushi needs another reign, but unfortunately he came up short. However, a good match. It was a good match. Ospreay got on the mic, challenged anybody, saying there's nobody left. I've dominated this whole division. I've carried this division. And then bam, lo and behold, the ticking time bomb, Hiromu Takahashi rushes to the ring with Daryl and Carol.
Everybody goes crazy, man. And the commentators are crying.
Yeah, exactly. It was a big thing. And then I just noticed that WrestleGeek, you said that Impact is using TJP to build up Fallah Bahh. I am fully aware of that. I know that TJP is, in fact, like I said, he's juggling his time back and forth. I would personally like to see TJP being utilized more in New Japan Pro Wrestling to really see how great. Like I said, I mean, he does good work in Impact. I'm not saying that Impact doesn't utilize him. I would just much rather see him being utilized in New Japan, where you could see his full potential.
Yeah,
that's just what I'm thinking. Because I think TJP needs to be built up even more. But I'm biased because we had him on the show. But I think TJP is great. But back to what I was saying though is that Hiromu Takahashi made his way back. And he made his way back, and of course Hiromu put on a show of just him throwing himself around the ring, throwing himself against the guardrails, doing a neck bridge, almost even kind of playing with the crowd, like, oh my God, my neck is still hurt. And even the crowd was like, oh my God. Even the commentators were like stop doing that. You got to stop doing that. Stop doing that. And he was just trolling the crowd, having fun with it, even going so far as to saying that, like, at the end when Ospreay walked his way and everyone's cheering Hiromu Takahashi with Daryl and Carol in his arms, the stuffed cats that he loves. I just love that his last words were like on the microphone was like, Ospreay, thank you. Meow, and then just walks off. Like, Hiromu is such a weirdo, and I love it.
He's my spirit animal, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I can agree to that. And I'm so excited because it was so tragic that last year when Hiromu Takahashi and Dragon Lee had a match last year I believe it was Los Angeles.
Yeah.
When he got hurt. Oh, no, it was the Cow Palace. So when they had the show
in San Francisco, yeah.
It was the show that they had at the camp. It was a IWGP Junior title defense where Dragon Lee tried to execute a Dragonplex, which those of you who don't know, a Dragonplex is pretty much powerbomb positions, pull down on the neck to tuck it, and then of course throw somebody backwards, kind of like an over like a belly to belly suplex, but it's a really weird positioning. It didn't quite go off as planned. Hiromu landed, pretty much slid across the mat, forehead first, broke his neck, still finished the match, retained the title, only to be told later that night that his career might be done.
Yeah,
that he broke his neck. So I just hope for the sake of his health that he's able to keep his health together. Yeah. But I am so excited. And I called it that if Hiromu's going to come back, because he's been kind of dropping hints on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram.
That he wasn't. Yeah.
That he was actually okay.
Yeah.
That he said that you're not going to just bring him back at a power struggle. You're not going to bring him back, during the G1. You're not going to bring him back, at King of Pro Wrestling, even though you probably could. I think he wanted to wait for the biggest stage, and that was Wrestle Kingdom. So that's what it's going to be. Ospreay against Takahashi for the IWGP Junior title. And mind you, Hiromu never even lost the belt. He had to give it up. He had to give up Mr. Belt.
Yeah.
He had to give up Mr. Belt because he broke his goddamn neck. But I'm so happy that he's back.
It's exciting, man. I wanted this guy to be back for the longest time. Again, like I said, he's my spirit animal. He's my hero.
And the thing is, you got two of the biggest daredevils.
Yeah.
in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Because Hiromu wrestles where he just has no regard for his body against Ospreay, who's just an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
That is going to be an insane match. And I hope for the sake of both of their health that they come out walking okay.
Yeah. Hopefully. And you know what? This might be a little bit off topic, but you just talked about Dragon Lee and he hurt Hiromu, and Dragon Lee had always wanted a rematch with Hiromu. He's always said on social media, like, come back, I'm ready for you to come back. With ROH issues, do you think they're gonna be able to have that match again?
I don't know, because it is a little strange as of late that that Ring of Honor and New Japan, like, there's always these rumblings that New Japan Pro Wrestling is kind of a little upset at Ring of Honor. And do you guys think that Hiromu should still be an LIJ?
WrestleGeek on Podbean was asking us.
Yes. Do you think? Okay, I just read that out by myself.
Yeah.
WrestleGeek, you said, do you guys think that Hiromu should still be an LIJ? I say for the interim, if it were up to me in a dream booking situation, Hiromu Takahashi should remain in LIJ for now. But I think the guy is so over by himself as a junior heavyweight, and he's such a marketable character that you could basically have him break off.
Yeah.
Because he's, like I said, if
he's not tranquilo.
He's not tranquilo. And I mean, there's, you can even say that the other members of LIJ are not tranquilo. I personally think that Hiromu should break off on his own, and it's not because that Naito is not over or that Sonata is not over. I think there's several guys in that faction that are over that put themselves over in a position, but I think Hiromu, for marketing purposes, I think because he's a ticking time bomb, he's unpredictable, he's crazy. Keep him as a solo guy. He's not associated with anybody. Oh, I got the thumbs up. I think WrestleGeek, you agree with me that maybe Hiromu Takahashi should kind of be out on his own. I think it would work. I think in my opinion, eventually have him go up against a rivalry against him and Bushi. Have him find some sort of way to use that to have him kicked out of LIJ or have him leave LIJ, because I think he can stand on his own. There's several people within LIJ that can stand on their own, and I think as a faction, certain people fit in that mold. I think Hiromu could definitely leave LIJ, and it would not hurt him.
Yeah. I concur.
I completely
100%.
Exactly. But what you were saying, I apologize. You're kind of on your own
tangent. Yeah, no, we were just talking about Dragon Lee and maybe a rematch with Hiromu. And I was just trying to think if that would ever happen with ROH and all the issues we have with not really working with New Japan right now.
Well, that's the interesting thing, though, just not to cut you off, is that they did in fact announce the World Tag League teams, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And it features a lot of Ring of Honor talent. So I don't know. But I mean, then again, you never know the contractual obligations and contractual ins and outs that certain wrestlers have worked out. Because at the end of the day, like, Dragon Lee has finally ended his time with CMLL, if I'm not mistaken. So he can kind of do what he wants at this moment in time. So it'll be really interesting. I think if you could fit a third in that junior heavyweight match, I personally wouldn't want to do it. I think maybe Dragon Lee for New Beginning, because they have, like I said, they have the New Beginning shows after Wrestle Kingdom. Put him against Hiromu Takahashi then. Start the year off with a big bang. With a rematch, which would be awesome. But I agree. Like, it's been a long time coming, because I know Dragon Lee has wanted that rematch ever since he was involved in that incident.
So hopefully that happens down the road, man.
Absolutely. And speaking of other people coming back, during this, after Tanahashi's match, which I know Tanahashi was involved in a tag match with Kota Ibushi against Okada and Yoshihashi, which, of course, to be expected, the high fly flow on Yoshihashi for the pinfall. After that, they got a video feed, and none other than the Painmaker has set out. Jericho has challenged Hiroshi Tanahashi for Wrestle Kingdom. Now, granted, this is not going to be a title match. There is no titles on the line. However, it leads me to believe, how interesting is it going to be the fact that currently Jericho is the only AEW signed talent that still is allowed to go wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And thing is, if he has the AEW title following Full Gear this weekend, will he still have it in Wrestle Kingdom? Will they allow him to take that belt overseas? Does that mean that there's going to be some sort of working agreement with New Japan? Or is this just kind of like a one-off for Jericho because Jericho can kind of call his own shots?
Yeah. Man, Jericho, I think, man, that guy could do whatever he wants right now. He can go whatever promotion they're gonna have him in open arms. So I think Jericho's gonna continue to do that with working with New Japan,
even if whether he brings the belt with him or not.
Yeah,
which I don't think he will. Whether he's champion or not. I mean, we'll see what happens this weekend at Full Gear.
And Moxley too, because I don't think they're just gonna not let him the opportunity to get a match with.
I think Moxley's contracted out for one more.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be for Wrestle Kingdom. But I'm excited to see that Jericho, it seems like Jericho has carefully targeted certain wrestlers that are over. Yeah. Like he's had his rivalry with Naito, which I love his rivalry with Naito. He, of course, had his matches with Omega. Yeah. He, of course, had the match with Okada, which, mind you, even though Okada won, Okada did not walk out of that match on his own two legs. So I would love to see, like, the fact that he's going after Tanahashi. We'll see how that's going to transpire. Because, like I said, it seems like he's going after the big names of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, he had his match against Evil.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm excited to see pretty much, if you really think about it, Tanahashi and Jericho, respectively, are two living legends.
Yeah. I like it for that reason, but I dislike it because it's you have two slower guys than Tanahashi and Jericho, because they can't work as they used to. Because with other people, with Okada and Omega and Naito, I mean, he didn't have to do as much work because they did everything mostly. Now with Tanahashi, I'm just afraid that the match is not going to deliver and everybody's going to be mad.
I don't know. I actually kind of disagree with you on that. And I disagree with you. I see what you're saying, because when it comes to guys like Naito and Omega, like, those guys are like athletic as hell. They're younger.
Yeah.
And what makes the match fun is a style difference. Like, there's a style difference of Omega, who's a hyper athlete, versus Jericho, who, even though Jericho still wrestles very well, I'm not taking anything away from Jericho. Yeah. You know that Jericho is a little bit more methodical and less high risk than he used to be.
Yeah.
Where and Naito is also the same thing. Naito has no problem putting his body on the line.
True.
And did so with Jericho. Jericho, of course, adopted a more brawling style. Yeah. And I don't think necessarily Jericho's doing this because he can't go. He absolutely can. I'm not saying that he lost a step. I'm just saying that it is obvious that he doesn't work the same fast breakneck style that maybe he did in the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
And with that being said, I can see your point that Tanahashi has had, chronic knee problems. But I don't know. I still think it'll work. I just think they have to. You got two guys who are two living legends. I think if this match may not be a matter of Naito and Jericho brawling, which that was entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a matter of just old school psychology of heel versus huge white meat babyface in Tanahashi. Jericho is going to obviously cheat and do everything he can to just not wrestle, but to be a perfect heel. And the thing is, the style works for him in Japan. That's what gets him over as a heel. So I don't know. I think it'll work.
Yeah.
Just don't expect.
I hope so.
Just do not expect a scientific match. Don't expect,
Don't expect the Ricochet versus Ospreay.
Yeah, no, that's not the kind of match you're going to get here. And I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think it's like I said. It's like I think sometimes what's the problem with this generation is that people expect that, okay, if it's this name and this name, it needs to be athletic and this and that. It's like, no, not necessarily. I think sometimes you can still tell a story without the moonsaults and without the chair shots. And I don't, or if you're going to do those things, make it mean something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, even though yes, Tanahashi is not completely, like I said, he definitely has had better days with his body, especially with his knees.
Yeah.
I still think you can make it work. I think you can make it work. It's just going to come down to storytelling. It has to come down to storytelling. Play to the strengths of being the baby face versus being the foreign asshole heel. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then another thing that was really interesting about this card was the fact that, and I kind of want to point this out, is that Tomohiro Ishii lost against Kenta, for the never openweight title match.
I didn't like that match.
Really, I actually liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
Than I feel like this match made up for how bad their United Kingdom match happened.
Yeah, I guess to me, and the reason I didn't like it is because these Kenta matches are becoming predictable. Like most of them are the same. It's just he just does a lot of hard hits, and then at the end he somehow overcomes after his opponent tries to get a comeback. So most of his matches are the same, and that's why I don't like it. But still, like you said, your opinion that it was good. So
I'm not saying it was good. Like I said, there's been better Kenta matches.
Yeah.
I just think that compared to their match that they had in the UK, it was several steps up. Because the match in the UK sucked because Kenta, of course, did suffer early on in the match with concussion.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is not. Yeah. Oh, but to kind of go back to WrestleGeek, I apologize. We're kind of juggling between screens. All of Jericho's singles matches post WWE have been great, in your opinion. I completely agree. In fact, I think we talked about this several episodes ago that even though Jericho has had already a legendary career that has spanned has expanded so many promotions, has essentially gone 3 different decades.
Yeah.
Jericho is a living legend at this point. He is a living legend. When you think of a legend, you think of like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, a Rock, or a lot of these guys that are no longer active competitors. He is active and still is just as good as ever. And dare I say, since his post WWE time, Jericho, in my opinion, and I didn't think it was possible, has put himself over even more.
Yeah.
Than he was in the WWE. And in WWE, he was pretty white hot at certain times. Like I said, he was always good at reinventing himself and creating buzz around himself. But I think now that he has that creative license and that freedom, I think his best work, this is probably the best work that I feel like he's had since the early 2000s.
Yeah, I concur. Even Stone Cold was in the Taz show, if anybody listens to the Taz podcast, and both of them gave Jericho kudos. Like they were just talking about Jericho, he's still working as much as he used to before. Like, yeah, this guy's still out there. I mean, we're not. We're just doing podcasts, and then he's still there working.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy.
And thing is, he's still working a pretty solid style. Like like I said, he obviously is not as fast as he was when he was a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
No one expects him to be. But the fact is that he is amazing. So I completely agree with you, WrestleGeek. And then like I was saying earlier, is that this Kenta Tomohiro Ishii match was a lot better than their UK match. Yeah. I'm not saying it's Kenta in Pro Wrestling Noah circa 2006. I'm not saying that. I can agree with you in the sense that Kenta's matches can be a bit formulaic.
Yeah.
But I think that is the charm with watching Kenta, if you watch his older work, was that it was simplistic. He wasn't about movesets. It was about him kicking and as pretty much having the hardest kicks in the business, which he does. I personally would have loved to have seen Tomohiro Ishii take the title, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think Ishii is a guy that he's so good at putting everyone else over. I think they need to put him over now. Mm-hmm. It's time for him to be put over. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. The same with Goto. Is another guy I wanted to win.
Exactly. And then later on in the night, Goto and Jay White had their match for the Intercontinental title. I predicted this. Jay White, of course, was going to win.
Yeah.
It's
a good choice. I mean, it's very solid wise.
Yes.
But to me, and maybe I'm skipping ahead too much, but to me, a Goto versus Tai Chi, maybe in Wrestle Kingdom, I would enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Than a maybe a Naito versus Jay White.
I agree. And the thing is, to kind of tie that into what you were saying, is that Goto lost. And then, of course, early on in the night, Naito and Taichi had a match basically that Taichi had a match against Naito that if whoever won that match would lay claim to be the next challenger for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
And the fact is that I think in the past 2.5 years, Taichi has grown on me so much, and he is such a good heel that I would have liked to have seen New Japan finally put someone else over.
Yeah.
And I think Taichi would have been awesome. For business purposes, I understand why Naito won. Because Naito is a draw. He is over. He is guaranteed money. I get it. I just think that Taichi is right there at the cusp of to another level. And what better than to give him a chance at the Intercontinental title, even if he lost. Even if he lost against Jay White or Goto, at least it would have set up the next night to where it was going to be title versus title. Where it's going to be the heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title both on the line to unify both titles. It almost leads me to believe that are they going to unify these titles and obviously the Intercontinental title will go away?
Yeah, I hope not. I like that Intercontinental title, and then I think it should just stay separate.
I mean, yeah, maybe. It's just my only thing is that they did the same thing in All Japan Pro Wrestling, where they made the Triple Crown title, which was three different titles that were put up online.
Yeah,
and of course they were unified in the early '90s, and they became the Triple Crown title. And they still use it. You still wear 3 belts. Like Kento Miyahara is still, in All Japan Pro Wrestling, still has 3 belts. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a permanent thing. It'll be really interesting to see what they do post Wrestle Kingdom with whoever unifies those belts. But to go back to what you were saying, I would have loved to have seen Taichi get put over, even if it was Taichi versus Jay White.
Yeah,
I still would have loved that. And I still would have I'd like to see Goto get more of a chance because I think he did so well in the G1. He's clearly in the best shape of his career in a long time. I just think you got to give him something better than what you've been giving this guy because he is an asset. Don't underutilize this man.
Yeah, I thought they were going to build him stronger since Shibata was on ring side and supporting him and protecting him, and then here comes the Jay White and wins. I mean, I love Jay White. I mean, he's a good heel. He's awesome. So I would see why you wanted in Wrestle Kingdom for the Intercontinental, but still, I mean, Goto deserves something. Give him something, man.
Like I said, I think as also, and then like I said, we still have a little bit of time before it's time for Wrestle Kingdom. But the fact that to go back, Kenta also, like I said, he retained the never open weight. I wonder if they're still going to kind of tease, the fact that maybe he'll have his match against Shibata. It'll be a grudge match of Shibata against Kenta, which will be awesome to see because you have 2 of the hardest kickers in the business.
Yeah.
And it just kind of bums me out because where does that leave Taichi and Goto? Are they going to be on the New Japan Rumble? You know how they always have the pre-show news? And I think they deserve more than to be on a pre-show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Wrestle Geek on Podbean. If you guys want to interact with us on Podbean Live, again, we're on 5 p.m. Central every Wednesday on Podbean. But he had a question for us here, or a comment. He said the best wrestler ever produced. Which one do you mean, Wrestle Geek? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. What do you mean, best wrestler WECA ever produced? Clarify that. We want to definitely answer your question. Let us know. And if anybody else has any comments, please let us know. But like I said, in terms of the card, the format of New Japan, at the end of Power Struggle, you saw basically Jay White, Naito, Jericho.
Wrestle Geek is saying best wrestler WEE ever produced was Jericho.
Best from Canada. I would say yes. Jericho is the best wrestler Canada has ever produced. As far as WWE, I will only disagree with you about Jericho being the best that WWE has produced is because Jericho, before he was in the WWE, was very much a WCW guy. Yeah. Prior to that, he was always involved in ECW. He was involved in AAA. Mm-hmm. He was involved in the Japanese promotion that's now been gone for decades at this point. The War promotion, the Wrestling and Romance promotion. He was, he did a couple matches in FMW and in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So he was basically a journeyman's type of wrestler. He was a journeyman's type of wrestler. But I mean, I understand that WWE is the place that Jericho made his name as a household name. Mm-hmm. But in that sense, in my opinion, the best wrestler that WWE produced, all right. Absolutely. And I agree. Like, Jericho's career is absolutely legendary. You know, beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night.
Yeah.
You know, not to mention his countless amazing matches he had in WrestleMania with Punk, you know, Shawn Michaels, you know, his matches with Benoit, even though that's a very touchy topic nowadays, you know, with the WWE. But to go back to what I was saying is, like, at the end of Power Struggle, you saw at the end that Jay White defended his Intercontinental title, called out Naito, or Naito came out. They confronted each other. Then Ibushi said, like, you know, I want to lay claim to the Intercontinental title too. Okada kind of coming out saying, this is all a joke. This is stupid. Like, the only belt that truly matters at the end is this belt. And I think Okada's arrogance is going to cost him.
Yeah.
Because it's been said that on night one, Okada will face against Kota Ibushi for the main event, and then the second main event is Naito against Jay White, and whoever wins, of course, you go to the next night to headline the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. And I think Okada needs to be very careful with his words, because the moment he becomes cocky and underestimates anybody, you cannot underestimate any of those three wrestlers in that ring, let alone a guy that can be as explosive and powerful like Kota Ibushi. His cockiness will be his downfall. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think, definitely, especially with somebody as strong as Ibushi, which he has so much momentum right now with winning everything he's in. So it's gonna he's gonna have a hard time, man. And then Naito, what do you think about Naito and not really caring for the Intercontinental Championship?
I think in a lot of ways, if you look at Naito's career, it has been the title that has plagued his career, because even Okada made reference to this. He said, "Hey, I guess the fans really want this unification match. Hey, Naito, why don't we have them vote?"
Yeah.
And do you notice that Naito didn't laugh, or Naito got kind of pissed off when he said that?
Yeah.
Because if you go back to years ago when Naito won the G1 Climax, Naito won the G1 Climax, and after the G1 Climax victory, and mind you, this was like 2013, Naito was at one point one of the most up and coming over popular stars, and then he lost momentum. Like, suddenly the fans started the story is like where the fans turned on him. And I think because a lot of people felt that Naito was not as good as a Nakamura or a Tanahashi at the time, and they felt that, you know, a lot of people made fun of the way that Naito wrestled, so it was kind of embarrassing, and it came to the point where nobody was even cheering or booing him when he was walking in the ring. People just thought that he had no charisma to him. Yeah. So I think New Japan realized that the Wrestle Kingdom main event was kind of in jeopardy, so they were like saying, okay, what's going to main event? We're going to leave it up to the fans. Will it be, of course, the event of Tanahashi against Okada, or is it going to be? No, excuse me. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember what was it was a co-main event that they had to vote. It was going to be Nakamura against. I think the main event was Nakamura against Tanahashi, and then Okada versus Naito in the sub main event. It was the only time that the Intercontinental title headlined Wrestle Kingdom over the main event, over the IWGP Heavyweight title, because at the time Nakamura was so popular that he elevated the Intercontinental title. Because, and in fact, a lot of people even said that for a short period of time when Nakamura had the Intercontinental title meant more, or was just as important. So because of that vote, Naito lost his main event. He lost his main event. Usually if you win the G1, that's guaranteed a main event. So it was called a double main event. But in Naito's eyes, he lost his main event slot. So I think after that, he went back on excursion. They made him to go back on excursion because the fans pretty much turned on him. Yeah, pretty much turned on him. He went to Mexico, joined LIJ with Rush, and did that for a while. Came back to New Japan and had an attitude, and then from there formed his own extension of the LIJ Japan faction, with, of course, Bushi and Sanada and Evil. And ever since then, Naito's been one of the biggest stars in Japan. And what a way to recover from your career when the fans literally turned on you. So the fact that Okada brought that back up, that's got to really piss off Naito. And I completely agree, WrestleGeek. You said that the story writes itself. I completely agree. The fact that Naito can go one-on-one with Okada on night 2. And then finally Naito has his comeuppance and wins the IWGP Heavyweight title on night number 2. However, I'm going to play devil's advocate, and knowing that for the past 2 years, the fact that Ibushi has come 2 years ago, Ibushi was in the finals and lost in the G1. He lost it against Tanahashi. This year, he finally won and became, the briefcase holder and the winner of the G1 Climax. I think it'd be such a waste to not allow Kota Ibushi to win, because I think at this point you want to start building newer stars, or not newer stars. Kota Ibushi is a star already, but you want to build those guys that are like household names in New Japan and that are going to be synonymous with New Japan. Because when you think of New Japan, you automatically think Tanahashi, you automatically think Okada and Naito. For a while it was Kenny Omega until he left. So who's going to take, like I said, I think you got to start looking towards the future and building around bigger names and make those names popular. And I think Ibushi is the perfect fit to become a next household name for that company.
Yeah. If you're going towards the future, the match in night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom should be Ibushi versus Jay White.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it that way, it's the future and all it's going to hold later. You just want those two guys, night 2, to end everything. Yeah. But I mean, if it was me personally, of what I would want is like WrestleGeek said on Podbean. I would want Okada versus Naito.
I would want Okada versus Naito. Yeah. But the thing is, I have been gunning for Ibushi since I got introduced to him back in the late 2000s when he was still wrestling in DDT.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. It's super exciting. I'm super stoked. This has pretty much rounded out what's been going on for New Japan. It's going to be going on for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not to mention, they did announce the World Tag League brackets.
The World Tag League brackets?
Yes.
Yeah,
So they did announce the World Tag League brackets. And within the World Tag League, I think one of the smartest things that they do is that they book the Tag League right before Wrestle Kingdom. It kind of gives wrestlers a break. Because like I said, tag team wrestling, I'm not saying that tag team wrestling cannot be intense.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be. But like I said, it's only going to be for 3 weeks. It is a grueling tournament. But at the end of the day, it is a tag team tournament, which tag teams can split the workload. And so far, the teams are pretty, I'm excited to see where this is going to go, because whoever wins the World Tag League will obviously be the ones to challenge the Gorillas of Destiny, who have held on to the IWGP Heavyweight Tag titles, for quite some time now. They've been dominant. And I feel like the heavyweight tag, the heavyweight tag division doesn't really have any viable competitors these days.
Yeah.
There's no real competitive tag teams in the heavyweight division lately. So it'll be really interesting to see where they're going to go with this.
When you think of tag teams in New Japan, you think junior heavyweights.
Exactly.
Not a big ones, not heavyweights.
Exactly. And like I said, the teams are pretty awesome this year. Like I said, so this year they've been announced, and the following teams are as follows: Toa Henare and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
That's weird.
Oh yeah, it's a bit weird, but
that's a weird one right there.
Maybe it's going to be like a learning experience for Toa Henare. And then of course, Great Bash heel Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma, which, like I said, those guys have a lot of history in the GBH faction.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool that they're back. Of course, tag team legends on their own respectively, but tag team legends Tenkozy of Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tenzan. Personally, I would love to see these guys go over one more time, because if you ever watch their work in the early to mid 2000s when they were going back and forth between New Japan and All Japan Pro Wrestling, a dominant tag team.
I love these two guys.
Oh, they're great.
Still have good matches.
They still have great matches, and I think they should be utilized more despite how old they are. Yeah. And then, of course, you have Manabu Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata. They were at least at one point former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team champs.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have FinJuice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson. I think this will be a good period for David Finlay to get the cobwebs out of his body, to get that ring rust off. And then, of course, you have Goto and Carl Fredericks.
That's good.
I don't think this team's going to go far.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But I think this will definitely be a good learning experience for Carl Fredericks, who I think, in my opinion, is one of the most promising young lions, period. Yeah. Not just from the LA dojo, from any of the dojos.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi.
Yes.
Next. I won't even talk about it. And then, of course, my favorite, Toru Yano and Colt Cabana, the comedy duo in the World Tag League. Wouldn't that be some shit if they actually did win and challenge the Guerrillas of Destiny? I think it'd be a great match.
I would love that.
The fact is,
these two.
Colt Cabana might be a comedy wrestler, but he can go. He is right now, as of right now, as in reference to the last episode of NWA Power, he is now the North American champion for the NWA.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's coming back over to World Tag League, pretty awesome. I'm pretty stoked about that. And then, of course, the team of Mad Mikey Nichols and Jeff Cobb. We'll see. Like I said, Mikey Nichols was at one point, in NXT, and was a dominant part of a dominant tag team in Pro Wrestling Noah.
He keeps disappearing, man.
Yeah, he'll kind of disappear and come back and disappear and come back. And I agree with the WrestleGeek. You pointed out that Goto will probably serve the same role as TJ Perkins for a young lion. I agree. I think TJP is there to I think Goto is there to teach Carl Fredericks to kind of be there and under the learning tree a little bit.
Yeah.
But as far as Mikey Nichols, like I said, Mikey Nichols is no stranger to tag team wrestling. Like I said, part of TM61 in NXT, also known as TMDK in Pro Wrestling Noah. Fantastic tag team during his time in Pro Wrestling Noah. I feel like since debuting for New Japan Pro Wrestling, he hasn't quite caught his footing. Like I said, he's very inconsistent. I've been very unimpressed as Mikey Nichols as a singles wrestler. So I don't expect a lot of things from that tag team. And then, of course, you have LIJ's Evil and Sonata, who, like I said, they have their fourth consecutive 2017 and 18 World Tag League winners, 2-time IWGP Tag Champs. I would even say they're one of my favorites.
Yeah. I still don't like Evil for some reason. He's bringing down Sonata, man, in my opinion.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I think Sonata needs to go single, but like I said, for World Tag League purposes, it makes all the sense in the world. And then, of course, LIJ will feature Shingo Takagi and Terrible, who is part of the original LIJ faction in Mexico. New team. I'm excited to see them work. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but I am very excited to see this following tag team of the team of Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer.
Man, everybody's going to die with these.
These two guys are going to pretty much destroy people. And then, of course, you have finally from Suzuki-gun, you have Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, their second entry together. I don't think they have that great chemistry. That's just my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. As individuals, awesome wrestlers, but together we'll see. Of course, the Guerrillas of Destiny are the current IWGP Tag Champs. And then, of course, you can't forget rounding out the rest of the brackets is Kenta and Yujiro Takahashi as a tag team. Yeah. And then, of course, the guys who have stormed Area 51, Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. They have a comic book out, right? That chronicles their time. Yeah, they have a comic book out.
Really?
They have a comic book out that talks about how they went to Area 51. It's pretty awesome. And WrestleGeek, you said the new version of Killer Elite Squad with Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer? Maybe. Because like I said, currently Lance Archer is the U.S. champ. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to have that title defended at Wrestle Kingdom, whether against Jon Moxley or Dave Finlay or who knows. Who knows? I'm excited, but I would love to see that tag team take over. My opinion, I think the 3 tag teams to look out for is, of course, Evil and Sonata, the team of Suzuki and Lance Archer, and then, of course, the Guerrillas of Destiny. Who knows? Maybe the Guerrillas of Destiny might win it, and then they get to claim, all right, we can pick our own challengers. We want to pick who challenges us.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like I said, GOD have been dominant as hell and have kind of been, quiet as of late. Because, I mean, who else is there left?
Sleeping Dragons.
Sleeping Dragons, man. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited no less because Wrestle Kingdom is just around the corner. Like I said, we're in November, dude. January is almost around the corner. The year is almost over, which is we're going to be coming up on our 1 year anniversary. Mm-hmm. We might have something special planned. We'll have to think about this.
Yeah.
But man, Wrestle Kingdom is exciting.
Yeah, man. Just clear your calendars for those 2 days.
Exactly.
Just make sure you're off. Don't work that day or those 2 days.
Exactly. Or if you're gonna work. So wait. So what is it? It's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, which means your sleep schedule might be a little off, but that's okay. I'm not going to do a goddamn thing that whole weekend except watch Wrestle Kingdom. We might have a sleepover.
Yeah.
The way this is going to work, it's probably going to have to be a sleepover. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited for Wrestle Kingdom. Look forward to for the World Tag League, which starts very shortly. And on that note, man, let's go see what else is going on around the other parts of the wrestling world.
Let's go.
Hi. This is the news. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. That burp is representative of how I feel about the following topic we're about to discuss. You know what I'm talking about.
Which one?
What topic would I just burp about right now? Take a wild guess.
Burps. Man, there's so many news we had to.
What piece of news on there do you think I would burp about? Just like whatever.
About Jim Cornette? No.
Well, Jim Cornette is a dumbass, and I think everyone can agree to that. Let's start with that one. Yeah.
Jim Cornette in his comments about he was making fun of a commentator in Progress Wrestling.
Yes.
That of the way he dressed and that he should just go out and I think he said. I think he said he'd go out to the parking lot and kill yourself or something like that. And everybody was so mad that I mean, suicide's not a joke, man.
Yeah, basically saying because of the way he dressed, he apparently didn't approve of the way that he dressed.
Yeah.
Commentator from Progress Wrestling, and says like you just go out there to the parking lot and just kill yourself.
Yeah.
And the fact is, man, like you know me. I can be a little bit blunt. I can be not kind sometimes. I can be rude. I can even be a little bit much for some people. I know that about myself. I'm opinionated. I don't give a fuck. But there's even certain things that I won't tell people. And one of the things you should try not to joke about is suicide.
Yeah.
And I think that's just distasteful. It's like are you fucking idiot? Like that's just not funny. Like, I mean, why does it bother you so bad that someone dresses so bad that you got to wish death on them? Like, are you just that like malfunctioned as a person to wish death on something so small?
Yeah.
Like, I just, God, Jim Cornette, in my opinion, I think Jim Cornette only says these terrible things because it comes back to his podcast and it generates interest. That's all it is. I don't think he genuinely believes 95% of the shit that he says out of his mouth. I think it all is a troll tactic. It's cheap heat. It's him just pissing people off, and then people go on his podcast just to find more reasons to get pissed off, and then people tweet at him and get fucking mad at him and talk shit about him. And like I said, it fucking works because look at us. Lo and behold, we're talking about him right now.
Let's skip this, which comes to the one I think you were burping about is Randy Orton resigning.
Yeah, right.
Did I get it right or no?
Yeah. That's exactly. And I agree, Wrestle Geek. Jim Cornette is a fucking just a trash human being.
Yeah.
And I just think he does it just to garner interest. It's cheap fucking heat and cheap attention for his podcast. Because you notice, like, when he goes quiet for a little while, he'll say something every couple of months that'll get people pissed off.
Yeah.
And that's his damn job. I'd expect no less from Jim Cornette, who loves being a trash human being.
Just trying to put himself over.
Put himself over every damn time because the guy doesn't want to get a real job.
Yeah.
But anyway, and like I said, his heyday has been long, long gone.
Long gone.
At this point. Like I said, it's not the 1980s. It's not the territories. It's never going to be the territories again. Get over it. But back to what you were saying. Randy Orton re-signing with WWE. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I didn't see Randy Orton leaving. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen, Randy Orton wrestle against a lot of other guys that obviously have no interest in going to WWE. I think him posting about the Elite and everything was just a troll tactic. Mm-hmm. It was him
just to use it to get more money.
Yeah, it was a way for him to. I completely agree with you. Yeah. It was him just to find a way to kind of like, yeah, I think I might be interested in going somewhere else. Like, no, sign with us, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right, well then I want $10 million. And that's what I want for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Because like I said, in 2010, he signed a 10-year contract. Mm-hmm. And mind you, 2010, Randy Orton was white hot at that point. He was in the middle of like the 7th rivalry against John Cena at that point. Which, like everyone knows, like in the mid to late 2000s, like Randy Orton versus John Cena was every other pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It got old quick. But at that point, he was still white hot. And he signed a 10-year contract. He was a year out, so they finally got him. Mm-hmm. He's apparently going to be in WWE. In my opinion, I think till the end, for forever. I don't think he's ever going.
He's just going to retire from it.
He's going to retire there. He'll probably do some backstage role or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Who knows? But thing is, it would have been kind of cool to see him wrestle other people.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he's done everything, and you can definitely tell that this decision was a money one. That's all it was. Yeah. Can you blame him though? No. Yeah. The guy has a family. Yeah. The guy likes to live comfortably. Security. Yeah. So why not? Mm-hmm. But that being said, I guess that's just not going to happen. But what I am stoked about though is that the NWA are going to basically team up with Retrosoft Studios. And I know Retromania has been responsible for making like that retro video game that kind of plays like an old WWF arcade game from the 80s, but it features different legends and a few modern stars.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Fire Pro Wrestling.
A little bit, yeah. but it's supposed to be modeled after the WWF the arcade game from the 1980s. So it has the Legion of Doom, and then of course Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and Big Boss Man. So like I said, that game currently features the Legion of Doom. It features Superstar Billy Graham. It features Zack Sabre Jr., John Morrison, Tommy Dreamer, the Blue Meanie, and the BWO as a whole. And now they're going to incorporate the NWA roster into that game, which I am very excited to trying it. I completely agree, Russell Geek. It's going to be an awesome video game. Like I said, I think when it comes to the whole debacle of what's happened with the WWE 2K crisis and how that game was clearly not ready for people to play, I think it's really turned people off from putting money into buying WWE video games. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would love to see. I think it's kind of cool that Retrosoft Studios has made like a retro video game. And of course, are using people who are not contracted through a major company or that are allowed to be on there. Mm-hmm. There's been rumors that for AEW, Kenny Omega said that they're looking into making a video game with AEW guys on their roster, but it'll be
Wrestle Geek read your mind.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Wrestle Geek read my mind. But the thing is, like Kenny Omega said that they're looking into using the same game engine that that was used for No Mercy. Or the old WCW and versus NWO Revenge video games. And if that happens, obviously they'll use the same engine, but it'll be updated. The graphics will be better, but the controls. I remember the one thing I loved about those games back then was that it was easier to control.
Yeah, more fun.
You had more fun. It was easier to control. You had two finishers. You could steal finishers. It was just an easier game to control, where I feel in WWE 2K20, it gets a little complicated to try to wrestle in that damn ring.
Yeah, so many buttons to just do one thing.
Yeah, which I think Russell Geek said, like, it's something like Here Comes the Pain. Yeah. Which was, in my opinion, the last good WWE video game. Yeah. Here Comes the Pain was awesome. It was one that Brock Lesnar was on the front cover of it. That was a good one. I like the controls on that one as well. But like I said, if Kenny Omega is correct in saying that they're trying to do the whole like No Mercy, because like I said, the people that made the No Mercy video games were the same people that also made what was it called in Japan? It was called All-Star Pro Wrestling number 2. All-Star Pro Wrestling number 2 was a wrestling game that featured wrestlers from New Japan, All Japan, Noah, and of course a couple of independent stars of Japanese wrestling. So, but at the time, if you were into Virtual Pro Wrestling #2, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome game. I remember the promotion materials that came out during like 2001 and 2. I was living in Japan at the time, and when those promotion materials came out, you saw like Keiji Muto with you saw Keiji Muto, you saw Mitsuharu Misawa, and then of course you also had what's his name? Not Riki Choshu, but you had I'm sorry, it's been a long day. But point is, you had 3 different big Japanese wrestling guys from 3 different promotions on the front cover of a video game.
Yeah.
Which led, of course, to the King of Colosseum series for PlayStation. But the thing is, like, I'm excited to use that game engine for a future video game. It was easy to handle, very easy to play, super fucking fun. I had so much fun playing, No Mercy and NWO versus WCW Revenge. So we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, I'm excited no less to see where NWA is going to basically join in on Retrosoft Studios and make their own game, or at least join in and become a downloadable pack for Retromania.
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun as hell.
We should get in and play it on Twitch.
Absolutely. Well, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do a Twitch episode of the podcast at some point.
Yeah.
And we'll play live, and people can interact with us and whatever else. But I'm excited, man. And you got any other news, man? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Well, there's a lot of things that happened this week, and one of the things that happened was Joey Mercury comments on Ring of Honor, which is a little bit touchy because he talked about a lot of sensitive stuff about the talent there and how much Kelly Klein makes, and so it was a lot of like I said, sensitive issues. The only thing I wanted to comment on that is on what he said about Ring of Honor and their production. I definitely agree with that. I don't know why they're still waiting to up their game. Like everybody's forgetting about Ring of Honor now. Yeah,
I feel like Ring of Honor is so stagnant, and I don't understand why, because they have such a great roster, but it's just a great roster, and they have Sinclair Broadcasting behind them.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest broadcasting company in North America, and you're not using them?
Yeah.
Why? Like, in my opinion, AEW, in my opinion, Ring of Honor failed at capitalizing off of the Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody. If anything, that could have been a sales pitch after All In.
Yeah.
For basically a bigger company to purchase Ring of Honor and make Ring of Honor something special. But instead, Tony Khan approached the Bucks, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And now you have a promotion full of amazing, talented guys with nobody watching it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. See what happens with Ring of Honor later.
Exactly. WrestleGeek for Xbox and or PlayStation. I'm an Xbox guy. What about you, dude?
Me? Right now, I'm a Nintendo guy.
You're a Nintendo guy. Neither. Women of Honor is kind of a joke at this point. Exactly. And Women of Honor division should not be a joke right now. I'm not very impressed with Kelly Klein. As far as the Allure faction is great. I just think it hasn't been done right.
Yeah.
I think it could have been done way better.
Yeah. They have Maria. Was it Maria Havoc? No, Maria.
No, not anymore. She signed to NXT.
Yeah.
She signed off to NXT. Like I said, I just think that the Women of Honor is just kind of, and they did, of course, borrow, they had Mayu Iwatani, who was, a wrestler from Stardom. But now they don't even have her anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen.
And then, of course, WrestleGeek said that your wife was excited when they debuted the belt. I was excited, too, because it would have been nice to finally see them expand off of women. But instead, the only thing that came out of it was a short Mayu Iwatani reign.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you went against Kelly Klein, and in my opinion, Kelly Klein was an underwhelming champion. Mayu Iwatani was awesome for the time that she did have it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that didn't last very long. Allure should have been a bit better, but it just hasn't panned out. I just think Ring of Honor has a lot of problems. Joey Mercury called it out, saying that, financially they're not doing well. They don't have a lot of security. I don't know, man. I think a lot of people aren't saying things because a lot of people are worried about losing whatever security they have.
Yeah.
Where I think Joey Mercury could give a shit. Like, I think Joey Mercury is just very opinionated and is also one of the greatest minds in the business backstage.
Yeah. Like WrestleGeek said, they don't know how to book women. Yeah, that's right. Maria Manic is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, Maria Manic.
That's the one she's there. And yeah, I don't think they know what to do with her either, because she's just goes into the ring, beats people up, and that's it.
No match, no nothing. Yeah. And I think she's signed with NXT, so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. Other signings is Scarlett Bordeaux signing to WWE.
Whack.
You don't like it?
No. I think Scarlett Bordeaux should have. I think what could have happened, and I think you don't know what goes on behind the scenes of certain things, but AEW should have made a power play, and you could have definitely have built a division around Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Because she's a star. And I'm not saying she won't, succeed in WWE. I am more than positive she will succeed in WWE. But in my opinion, I think WWE is at this point where they just don't want anybody to go anywhere else. So they're signing all the awesome indie talent right now to bleed the indies and to kind of take away from whatever else. Pretty much take away options, so that way nobody will go anywhere else. Even if they don't utilize certain talent, they don't want certain talent to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then then again, WrestleGeek said that WWE might be the place for her character. I don't know. We'll see, because like I said, Scarlett Bordeaux did have an edginess to her. WWE is a PG product. However, NXT is becoming one of the, in my opinion, NXT at this point is the most popular brand out of all three. And maybe not in terms of ratings, but in terms of like pure wrestling fans, it is the most popular. And maybe she'll kind of be like a figurehead in NXT. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I would have liked to have seen her gone elsewhere. It'll also be interesting the fact that, like I said, New Japan also purchased Stardom, where WWE tried to do the same thing, failed. New Japan has it. Maybe Stardom will now be featured in Wrestle Kingdom. In conjunction with New Japan Pro Wrestling, because Bushiroad purchased them. So I'm excited. But in terms of, to go back to Ring of Honor has completely failed that women's division. Mm-hmm. And now MLW is going to be stepping up and starting a women's division. Hopefully they don't follow the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And that they'll actually do something right.
Which now that you remind me, AAA is going to announce a partnership with MLW coming up soon.
There you go. And I know AAA also works in conjunction with AEW as well. And of course, MLW does feature MJF and Marco Stunt and a few other people from AEW. So and also Jimmy Havoc as well. So I'm excited to see, like I said, there was a lot of different there's a lot of different promotions that seem to be kind of having a loose working relationship with each other, which I think the Bucks said that's what they wanted to do, was that they're not looking to take away from other promotions.
Yeah.
They're looking to basically, I guess, make wrestling healthy, make the wrestling economy healthy, and that people can work together. And how was Super Fight for MLW? I'll be honest, I only saw part of it. I was very impressed with Brian Pillman against Low Ki. Like I said, I think Brian Pillman still has a long way to go, but I think that Low Ki did a great job carrying him in that match.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see where Brian Pillman goes from here, where Low Ki is, if anybody. I like the fact that they played off of the whole respect angle of who, in order for you to go through this business, you can't just go off of your name. You can't just be some smart ass kid. You got to earn respect. And you earn that in the ring. And of course, Low Ki did, of course, kick his ass, but you kind of had some sympathy for Brian Pillman Jr. in that match.
Yeah.
It was a well done match. The rest of it, I didn't get it quite. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not catch it. I apologize. But like I said, anytime I'm able to catch MLW, I'm very, 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 very pleased with any show that I watch.
Yeah. Yeah, MLW always has good stuff because they have a combination of everything, lucha and different styles. Yeah. MLW is a good show to watch. Like NWA is a good show to watch. And I know Impact, maybe you don't feel as strongly about it right now as other people, but
Impact is doing what they do.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot better. I said, the options are viable, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there and enjoy pro wrestling. And on that note, man, we got to take off. But before we do, where can they find us on social media, man? Tell them.
Social media, Facebook and Instagram. We're on Tiger Driver Radio. On Twitter, we are on Tiger Driver Rad1. You can email us at tigerdriverradio@gmail.com. You could also join us live on Podbean every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central, like WrestleGeek interacted with us right today.
Yes. So, shout out to WrestleGeek, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just keep doing that. You can even call the show when we're live.
You can absolutely call the show. Do not be afraid. Don't be shy. And thank you again, WrestleGeek, for the support. I don't know, man. We might have to give this guy a shirt.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Hit us up on social media, man, and maybe we'll hook you up with something. We'll have to wait for your message. But like I said, hit us up on social media. Also, don't forget, even though we go live every Wednesday, you can still catch episodes the following day on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube. We will still upload episodes once we are done being live. We still upload the episodes. So if you don't catch us live, it's okay. You can still show your support by streaming them on any streaming service that you use, because we do upload those episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna get iHeartRadio pretty soon. So other apps you use, let us know what those are, and we could add those on.
Exactly. Any suggestion, gripes, and complaints, you know where to find us. But until next time, kids, enjoy pro wrestling. This is JP. Peace.
Adios.